Now we're working with what they call a piecewise function. And this one's a little bit different than the other ones that we've dealt with. We've got a lot of information found all up here. But we don't really need to worry about that just yet, because it all boils down to what we're trying to find. In this case, we're trying to find f of 0. So we've got to look at our 0 here and see where that falls under all of this. If x were less than -2, then we'd use this equation, or this expression up here. If x were between -2 and +4, then we'd use this one. Now you also want to pay attention to these less than or equal to. Because if this one said find f of -2, we would end up going with this second equation here, because this is greater than or equal to -2. So if it is -2, we use this second one. But in this one we're looking for f of 0. So 0 falls right in between my -2 and 4, so we're going to use this second equation. And all we're really going to do is plug in 0 for x right here. And I really don't worry about this top equation or this bottom one at all, because in this case we're plugging it in for 0, and when x is 0, we'll use this second one. So all I'm going to do is plug that in now. First thing I'm going to do is rewrite that equation. That's 2x minus 1. Now I'm going to plug in 0, so 2 times 0 minus 1. 2 times 0 is 0, so f of 0 is equal to -1. And all I did is I plugged that one in. Now let's say if they asked us another one, say find f of 4. Now 4 is a unique one, because if we look up here we have two 4s. We have to see which one it's actually going to apply to. Because in this case x is greater than or equal to 4. When we're looking at this 4, it would not apply to the second equation, it would actually apply to this third one. So now all we're going to do is take this third equation and plug in 4 for x every time that we see it. So I'm going to rewrite that equation, 3x squared plus 4x. Okay, now I'm going to plug in 4 for it. 3 times 4 squared plus 4 times 4. I use the parentheses because then it helps us with our order of operations on this one. 4 squared is 16 times 3 is 48. So I've got 48 plus 16. 48 plus 16 would give me 64. So f of 4 is equal to 64. And we'll do one more here. If I was asked to find f of, and let's go -5. Okay, now we look at this one, we have to look, it would apply only to this first one here, because x would be less than -2. -5 is definitely less than -2. So I'm going to use this first equation here and then plug in my -5. So let's do that now. I'm going to rewrite my first equation, which is x squared plus 3. Now I'm going to plug in -5. -5 squared plus 3. -5 squared is 25 plus 3. 25 plus 3 is 28. So f of -5 is equal to 28. So the big thing on these is just trying to identify which one of these three expressions that we're going to use to plug it into. And it all depends on what our x value is, and we have to use these rules for our x values to plug those in.